Hey, what's good, everybody? This is Vic 3, and you have just tuned into the newest post game show for the Eagles out here. This is Raw Reactions, hosted by myself and my guy, King Kincade, which at the moment, my guy had to take care of some fatherly duties. So, he's taking care of his little girl who had a little bruised knee, nothing too serious, but everyone, wish her well. But as we said, just like the name says, this is Raw Reaction. This is a new Eagles post game show where I'm gonna bring on a couple of fans, some guys that are in the know with the Eagles, some YouTube content creators, and we're gonna talk about the game that just transpired. So without further ado, let me just bring on a couple of guys in here. We have Nightings. What's good, my guy?
Hi, what's up? Just kind of a little sad on how we got the win. Win's a win, but there's some stuff that I'm concerned about as well. How are you doing today?
Good, my guy. Good. Yes, and just like you said, there are definitely things that are concerning. But let's bring on the other two guests we have. We have ECG family member. We have my guy Papa Sora Papa.
What
How
up?
are we doing?
Doing good. Pretty much like Nighting said, some good, some bad, and just some downright ugly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And with last but not least, we have my guy who was also on the show earlier this morning with Papa. We got my guy Lindy Enzo. Lindy, how are we doing today, my guy?
Oh, let's go.
Do I have to say it? What was that? I
What
know
was
who
that?
won, but come on. We'll
Well,
get into
before
it
we
though. I'll bottle it up right now.
Yeah, we'll do that real fast. Let's just give a quick shout out to everybody that's out there right now. BLSG, like I said, always here coming through. One of the first guys. Thank you for coming through. He says my Eagles won, but there are a handful of shit we have to work on. Definitely, definitely, definitely. And we got Random Anthem. Thank you for coming through, my guy. What did I just watch? I understand. We don't know what we just watched, but let's get to it right now. What does everyone think? What are your raw reactions?
You, you muted yourself
I'm about to
right
say I
there
heard a
quick.
child scream and
I
immediately
know, I
Vic
know,
went, I gotta
I know.
mute.
Yeah, right. No, well, yeah.
Alright, basically, if I can interpret what this man was about to say, what were the raw reactions to the game? Lindley, we'll start off with you. I'd take over all Vic.
Oh my
I'm gonna put that on
goodness.
myself. Take over for Vic real quick while he's being a dad.
All I gotta say is Jonathan Gannon, 35 points allowed against the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This isn't a means of. Again, this is not a means of disrespect to another team because we know a little bit of what Detroit was looking at going in with the improvements of their team. Second year of Dan Campbell, they're upgrading the offensive coordinator. I mean, they gave their fans a lot to be excited about because again the premise still exists that last year they were in a lot of close games but they couldn't capitalize on opportunity, and that's pretty much what happened again today. Although time of possession, the Eagles only had it 3 more minutes, three minutes split these two teams in time of possession of what they were offensively with the football. The Eagles were very sloppy on both sides of the ball. I mean, offensively, two delay of games and too many men on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just three sloppy penalties right there that you can't afford to have, especially in games where you're facing better opponents. I'm sorry, but you got to call it for what it is against the Lions. You think you're going to get away with these things against the Vikings, against some of our NFC East opponents? Green Bay Packers are on the schedule. I mean, come on. What are we do? What are we doing here? This is what you have to display in week one after all that anticipation in the offseason, all that preparation. We're seeing these new drills at training camp and at practice. They're working on their ball security. They're working on their tackling, this, that, and the third. And it's just much of the same story that we seen last year with an inconsistency from a defensive standpoint and a coordinator that doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. I mean, this is a ridiculous start to week one for the Eagles. I'm sorry. 38 points is great. But again, 7 of those came off of a pick six. You'll take 31 points against the Lions. But there's other teams that you won't take 31 points for because it's going to take a lot more to defeat them.
Listen, there were a lot of ups and downs in this game. It was a tale of every quarter was a different chapter of the game. We started off slow, then second quarter it was just an explosion of points, 24 points. We go into the second quarter, we go 14. Excuse me, the third quarter 14. Then fourth quarter, then the Lions are coming back, and it's just like I don't know if we were tired. I don't know what the situation was, but Papa, let me get your thoughts. What are your raw reactions with this game? What'd you think?
I mean, pretty much kind of what everybody was saying. Like first quarter, both sides, like their first drive were not ready. Right off the bat, you have 51-yard rush by Swift, and then.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Papa. Let me just I apologize for interrupting. Let me just
you good.
welcome my co-host, my guy, Timothy King Kincade. King, appreciate you, my guy. Hey, first of all, I hope your daughter's okay. I know she got a little bruised knee. First of all, you got to start off there. Everybody knows we all just heard my daughter just go crazy a couple seconds ago.
Yeah, man. The trials and tribulations of being a father. Yeah, crazy, and she's a daddy's girl, so I had to make sure everything was straight.
I know exactly what.
Appreciate it though.
Yes. Well, I apologize, Papa. Go ahead. What you were saying.
No, you good. You had to introduce your host. No, you good. I mean, and then we saw like on the first drive offensively, Hurts starting out 0 for 5 in passing. They're getting the run game's not there yet. Hurts gets a couple of rushes, and then they start coming back. We scored 24 in the second quarter, 14 in the third. We're thinking, okay, this Eagles offense looks good. Defense is getting a lot of good 3-and-outs. And then kind of just the fourth quarter, late third quarter, and then the entire fourth quarter happened. It was just like, what happened? I don't know if it was just the fact that I don't want to say like we pulled off the brakes, but I don't know if it's just we were just playing soft coverage. I don't know what all just happened, or if they're like we're pulling out some guys, but I mean the defensive line rotation, there were some weird ones. Like I saw Marlon Tooley, whatever his name is, like come in before Jordan Davis at one point, and I was like, what is happening here? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
All I know is Vic Fangio's still out there, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Papa, you took right out of my mouth because I even said it. And listen, I've discussed about it this whole offseason. Our biggest unknown is going to be Jonathan Gannon. Early on in the game, we didn't look right defensively. A slow start. Again, you can put some blame on the fact that they didn't get time in training camp, whatever, but that was their decision. They said when they have those dual team practices, that's enough. So we're going to take it for that. That should have been enough. They should have came out ready. There's no excuse for Jonathan Gannon this season, like we said. Talent has been put on this team. But before I go any further and get off my soapbox, Nightings. I know in our discussions back there, you were saying you had a lot to say. So the floor is yours, sir. What do you think? What's your raw reaction?
All right. I'll just start it off with the first half. I just want to start the first drive and then move my way back up. All right. Well, I was not impressed with the tackling in the run defense. That was so disappointing to me. I remember last year, we had complaints about the tackling, and it's still happening this year where we're letting – don't get me wrong, DeAndre Swift is a really good back. I love DeAndre Swift, but the fact that we let him run all over us, as well as Jamal Williams, I think he scored touchdown this game as well, maybe even 2. I'll have to check back on that. Even so, though, it doesn't really matter because they ran all over us, and we just did not have an answer for it. When DeAndre Swift got the ball, he had a good gain, and we just could not tackle. We had missed tackles. We couldn't track the ball carrier down. It was annoying. And, I mean, hey, after that first drive with the DeAndre Swift big run, you had the defense actually stepping up and settling in. And after this first half, and when it was halftime, saying, okay, this defense is settled in. All right, I think we're going to be fine. But then nearing the end of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter, not only was the run defense continuing to be bad, the pass defense started to fall apart as well. And we nearly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we nearly lost this game somehow. But fortunately, we won. All right. But in the first half, the defense was settling in. And I really did like the pass defense. The pass defense was not letting anybody get the ball on the air, which I really liked. But nearing the end of the game, boy, that was tough. We could have very well lost this game, but Miles Sanders clutched up. Hurts clutched up to get the first down, then we won this game, and we're taking home a W. All right, and I know I've been talking more about the defense here, but I also have some concerns about the offense. And might be wondering, well, the offense was great today, and I agree, but I am really disappointed in how we did not spread that ball around. I know A.J. Brown did excellent today, and by far was the best receiver in this game. Well, obviously for us, and I love what A.J. Brown did, but I was really disappointed in how we did not target. We did target Devontae Smith, but he did not get a catch this game. We barely targeted him. I believe I saw Zach Pascal get one catch, and I don't even know if he got targeted other than that. What I'm saying is Devontae Smith, Zach Pascal, Dallas Goedert, Quez Watkins, I have no idea where he went. We didn't target. We barely targeted any of them. Targeting A.J. Brown a lot is great and all. I mean, he's our wide receiver one for a reason. But, we were so excited about how this offense with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez, Zach, and we barely targeted the other receivers and our tight end, who's really great in the passing game too. Now, that really frustrated me. And I'm glad our offense did great and our rushing game did great. But if we're going to go, I think it's I think Lindy maybe said that, if we're going to go against the Vikings next week, the Vikings, honestly, I think they're a pretty tough opponent. They got a new head coach in Kevin O'Connell. They have Kirk has weapons he can go to. They have a great rushing game in Dalvin Cook. If we're doing this to the Lions, how are we going to do this against other teams and the team that's coming up next week, the Minnesota Vikings? This was unacceptable. I'm happy we got the win, but the way we did it doesn't make me happy. All right. So that's what I wanted to say.
Gannon is not going to have any breathing room in the home opener against a better opponent than who you just played and gave up 35 points to. We're murdering him on Twitter, and Eagles fans that were there. How much worse do you think it's going to be if he gives us that performance at the link? I mean, just premeditate it. It could happen.
Hey, definitely. Tim, let me get your thoughts. What are your raw reactions? You watched the game. You saw it all. You know what I mean? This is what you woke up to, so let me know.
John Gannon. The only thing that I was happy with John Gannon was when he got that blitz formation and we got the Lions off the field. That was the only thing. After that, it was terrible. The tackling was piss poor. And Sykin, can we just get underneath the center and run the ball? I mean, we were running the ball. We were getting almost 8-9 yards a carry. And then you want to go with the shotgun bullshit. I'm tired of that. Why can't we go I formation, pistol, something? I formation, something. You keep on getting the ball in Jalen's hands, and I get it. He had 87 yards rushing and stuff like that. I get it. He is a part of our running game. But Miles Sanders was ready to lock and load. He was ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
He had 90 yards rushing.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy as hell to me when you sit here. And then on top of that, hey, listen, and anybody came on, AJ Brown was ready to ball. As advertised, he was ready to go. But it's very irritating to me as I played high school, I played junior college. I was a running back and a wide receiver.
Excuse me.
Give me the ball. I want the ball. Stop trying to give it in the wide receiver. I get it. AJ Brown did this thing, but come on, man. What are y'all doing? And this whole, and this is the reason why I said this on my the pregame. Gannon got to be aggressive, and he just even one play. He did it one play where he blitzed, and it shook the shit out of Jared Goff. After that, Jared Goff looked like Derek Carr. How he picked and pilled us in that Raiders game last year. It was crazy.
3 and outs.
Yeah.
Three and outs.
That's not enough, though. That's not enough against Jared Goff.
Well, let's talk about it.
If you think that's enough for Jared Goff, I mean, you can go ahead and save John Gannon, but that's not enough.
Yeah, listen, we talked about it. This defensive line, we're talking about how great of a rotation it is. You know what I'm saying? The talent that we're bringing in here, it's going to be great. 1 sack. and it was shared between Grant
Exactly.
and Goff
One
throughout the
sack.
whole game.
Yeah.
Listen, there were times out there where Jared Goff had a great clean pocket. My guy had time to do whatever. If you listen, if he would have been an elite quarterback, he would have been dissecting us apart. And listen, act like he wasn't. Act like he wasn't picking us apart at times. DJ Sharp. A lot of people were, discounting him. Had a good game. Amon St. Brown. We talked about him at length. Had a good game. Swift. That was someone that we talked about before. One of my questions earlier was, why should the Eagles defense be afraid? Why should they be concerned with
Because he's explosive.
DeAndre Swift?
Swift,
A lot of people are saying
Swift
that
is
our defensive
explosive.
line can take care of him. That didn't look like the case today. It didn't look like our defense, our defensive line, our linebackers, our corners aside of that play with Bradbury, which was a great tip play. Let's give it up. Let's give them credit. But there was a lot that could have been done better, and all that has to do with Jonathan Gannon. It starts with him. It ends with him. You know what I'm saying? He's not putting these players in the right position. They're doing their best, but again, there were some times where I didn't, the defense really didn't come to play. Again, especially in the beginning, especially in the first quarter. That was sloppy. There was no excuse for that.
9 of 14 on third down, the Lions were. 9 of 14. That's inexcusable.
Yeah.
I would say an unpopular opinion because I had this on Twitter and I had a couple disagree with me. But I felt that Jalen Hurts had too many rushing attempts for a quarterback to have 15.
17.
He had
17
okay,
actually.
that's right. I don't think I was counting the last two, but it was at the point where he had 15 and then he finished with 17. Those are number one running back numbers. I'm sorry. I understand how electric and athletic Hurts can be in the most defined moments of when you need him, and he showed up when we needed him. He got that quarterback.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt. I don't mean to interrupt Lundy, but you put out a great point. With that type of performance, he'll never win over the Philadelphia Eagles fan base. Never.
No.
My question is, how many of those rushing attempts were Hurts escaping out of a sack or a pressure?
He held on to the ball. Listen, it got to the point.
Because let's be real. Detroit
RPO.
blitzed the hell out of us.
For sure, but it was
They
too
were
much
coming- they were coming
RPO.
at him.
Too much RPO. There was too much.
Agreed.
It was too much.
Agreed, but a lot of those rushes were Detroit came at him and he was like, I've got to run. There's literally nothing else I can do.
That's true.
Yeah. Jalen ended the
got
night
it.
with 17 rushes for 90 yards and a touchdown. He had, a 5.3 rushing yard average. But the one person you got to give credit to is the person that we doubted this whole offseason, Miles Sanders. The only one I can say that came through today. Miles Sanders ended up with 13 rushes, 96 yards, 7.4 yards per carry, and that touchdown.
Again, I was so happy for him.
Don't pick him for my fantasy because he heard the talk. He knew that everyone doubted him. Again, the only person that I saw that came to play today, and hey, let me just talk about it right now.
Why was
my guy
not in the
Hold
game?
on. Devontae Smith. Do you understand how upset I was when he dropped that ball? Hey, what's good, my guy? How we doing?
Yoga.
What's good,
Ty
Vic?
Yoga. I was upset with Ty Yoga dropping the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I was upset.
Oh,
You
no,
got
totally right.
activated. You got activated for a
but
reason.
you know what I'm saying? He overcame that and he showed out. Devontae, I was very depressed with. I was very disappointed with. You know what I'm saying? Like he was quiet. He was quiet.
He didn't show up.
Yeah. But
I still
aside of the
don't
running
understand.
game, again, that's something that we talked about last year. Aside of the running game, there wasn't anything else to talk about.
You had
There's one thing I would definitely want to say. So, I was really high on Miles about coming on this year. I know he had no touchdowns last year, but he got his first one this year. But 96 yards, 96 yards, 12 carries, and he got a touchdown. I'm telling y'all, he's going to get 6, maybe 7. I predicted 6, but don't quote me on that. Don't come after me.
After that
Hey, right here.
24-yarder to
What y'all think about this? The play calling today.
Both sides. Both sides, or
On both. But let's talk about the offense specifically. What did you think about Shane Steichen? What did you think of his play calling?
garbage.
There's a lot of work to do. I'm sorry. I mean, it's like this shit's so fucking predictable. It's like you could read this shit on the back of a book. Like it's not even funny. like it's bad enough that the defense was bad, was actually picked up what the Eagles were trying to do.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
I
not
just
know
got that.
Yeah.
He might be out.
Yeah.
listen, that is a
And
big loss.
also
If this is true.
Najee Harris with a foot injury.
Elijah
I'm
Mitchell.
sorry, who?
He'll be out for a while. Elijah Mitchell might be out for a
Yeah,
while too.
Mitchell also got hurt as well.
Yeah.
And
You
also
said
Najee,
Najee Harris too?
yeah, Najee
No,
also
Elijah Mitchell.
And
Some
Najee
predict he may be the league rushing title. He may get that. I can't believe this.
yeah,
Oh,
Najee
my.
Harris also
You know,
let
Say
Say
it
it
ain't
ain't
so.
But listen, seriously though, T's and C's all the players. I hope none of the injuries are serious, man. I hope they're all able, to have a long, fruitful season, especially week 1. You don't want to get injured for the rest of the season during week 1.
Nah,
That would be a big
no.
loss.
Shit, we
But
done
yeah,
with that
man,
last year.
Robert, when you came in, we really didn't get your thoughts. Let me get your raw reaction to this game.
Where do I want to start? I think overall, I think the defense actually played pretty solid, for the first 3 quarters. But for some reason, when Detroit went with that that quick tempo, that's everything. That's where the Eagles tend to fall apart because, where not your defense at, that should be like any team's, strategic way because we did that with the running game. We had to try to wear down the defense, but there's issues in the defense, and especially earlier, not tackling DeAndre Swift, and Jamal Williams. Let's be real; those two, I think, are going to be underrated running backs. I don't care what anybody says because and this also ties to the fact that no one with DeAndre Swift, being from Philly, and Vandy knows how to put emotions. Like really, could Eagles fucking pass up over this guy too? Like, come on now. But that's here nor there. But I think overall, I think the play call defensively was decent, but there's some work to do because I feel like the scheme was just not there, so to speak. Kaiser White. We this guy comes as advertised, but Bradbury. We know what Slay's all capable of. Let's be real, should have had that interception. I'm sorry, that still annoys me. It's like you had it right through your hands, and the fact that the atmosphere was just electric it's been a while since Detroit's ever had a sold out crowd.
Hold on. Let's be honest.
That's a Philly crowd. Yeah.
It's all HBO.
That's a Philly crowd right there.
Yeah, that's all. And it was all Philly crowd and the Hard Knocks crowd. Let's be honest. My thing about this, and there is one defensive player that I definitely want to call out. Can we give a round of applause to my man Marcus Epps?
Yeah,
he came the ball.
I was very concerned about. I was very concerned about Epps.
Him and TJ Edwards came the ball. That whole penalty, that PI was garbage. I didn't understand that whatsoever. But Marcus Epps, put some respect on my man's name and say it with your chest. That's all I gotta say. I'm about to give me a number 22 jersey all day.
Robert made a good point when he was talking about DeAndre Swift. Again, a lot of people slept on him. 144 yards on 15 carries with a touchdown, not including the 31 yards he got receiving. He torched us. Call it what it is. My man came through and torched us.
Mm-hmm.
And that defensive line that we were talking about, there's a lot of work that has to be done. We've seen a lot of chinks in this armor. Now, I don't know if they can get it through because, again, my biggest thing is Coach Gannon. How can he progress as a coach? Because, again, I know it's the first game. I know it's early. I haven't seen any progression yet.
You can definitely tell there's like nothing. And because he has the pieces to put a good offense or defense to say it just nothing's changed. There's some guys that's really stood out. Like I said, Kaiser White came to play. Jordan Davis also came to play too. The kid is starting to eat. We don't know what
it wasn't for Kaiser White. There would be no pick six.
That is true.
What I'm really concerned about, why is Tolo below two? I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying earlier.
Why is he playing on Jordan Davis?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like some of those like alignments, man. It boggles my mind.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And even when we got it, when we got the first down on that fourth down with the QB sneak, third down, that's when you need to be doing the QB sneak.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're waiting on fourth down. Put Hurts under center, put him in the QB sneak.
Most definitely.
I will say that one, I think the one play that had me the most excited throughout this entire game was that Miles Sanders, he gets stuffed, backs up and then runs for 20 more yards. I was like,
Yeah.
that's the miles I miss, man.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Why did they take Miles out of the game after that run and insert Boston Scott?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
Well,
I can understand, like, if you're wanting
why?
to switch between, like, Gainwell and Scott. And I know Dante, ECG said this. I don't know if he's still lurking in the chat. I know he said this, but, like, you need to come with a clear, established running back one.
Yes.
okay. Well, let me put the dot. Let me put the dot on a lot. Let me put the central on the line.
Okay, go ahead.
If you guys remember, he was doing some bonehead shit. He was doing some bullhead shit where we were like, "Hey, why are you running out of bounds?" So they gave Boston the keys to be like, "Hey, we need you to stay in bounds, make sure that clock is running." I think that was probably the majority of the reason why. Yeah. And on top of that, let's be honest.
If anything, that needed to be
his
sermoned.
hamstrings is made out of licorice, so they had him on snap count.
Tua's ankles are made out of Charmin Ultra Soft as well, but I mean, I get your point.
True. But hey, we need him for. Listen, I'm gonna be back home next week, and if we lose, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna tear Philadelphia up with my cousin. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to let y'all
Especially
know.
your own primetime television too.
Yeah, Thursday night, short week. You gotta
embarrass me. We can't. But this right here, we can't do that next week.
no.
Not a team
can't
like
do
against
that
the
next week.
Vikings that
Nah.
let's be real, defensively ain't that great. Ain't the greatest defensively.
Who, the Vikings?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Listen, we got my guy Shay Dub. Shay,
Hey, what up,
thank you for coming
Shay?
through, my guy.
Hey,
Let me get your raw reaction. What did you think of today's game?
all I know is I'm glad to be in the winner's circle.
Yeah,
Go with it.
Well, man,
It's not
We're
pretty,
complaining,
but
but we
a
did
win's
win.
a win.
that was a typical Week 1 Eagles win. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know how it is for us. You know, the more we get hyped, the slower we start. Except it was actually the defense this time that was letting us down, not necessarily the offense. We scored 38 points.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really 31 points offensively. Man, but man, I'm glad we came out with that win, man. I'm a little upset. Well, I've been telling Commanders fans like, "Hey, y'all win," but I told y'all get ready for the ride. It's gonna be a roller coaster.
Yeah, it is. I totally agree, Shay.
Hey, let me ask everyone a question because it's been said in the chat and I've been following along because Dante mentioned it. What did you think of Hassan Reddick? You know what I'm saying? Suspect is a good word to use. I
He
can't
was
lie.
Hey, listen, he was getting beat on one-on-ones, and I was kind of like, what's going on?
He was getting beat like a drum out there at some
He was getting
point.
beat on one-on-ones. Hey.
We ain't spend all this money for that now.
Yeah.
So what did y'all think? Do you think this is something? Because right now here, let's do this. Let's focus on what do you think can happen next week with Detroit? We've seen the deficiencies. We've seen what holes we have. We've seen the positives. We've seen, Jalen Hurts can't get out of trouble. If he needs to, he can carry it. He can run it. He can run it to a win. But against the Vikings, what do you think we need to do going forward? Papa, I'll start off with you.
I mean, obviously, I think you got to spread the ball around more. And I was gonna say it on the big ticket earlier, but obviously we were. I think when I was gonna say it, it was whenever we were talking about AJ Brown, and that's when my computer got shut off and I got disconnected.
Here, I never asked the question. I had so many questions that I did not ask because we were going 2 hours in. But that was one of the questions I wanted to ask this morning, and we saw there was some issue.
Yeah. So kind of what I'm hoping it doesn't become the same that we saw with Stafford and Cooper Kupp, to where if nobody's there, throw to Kupp or throw to Brown and hope he can catch it. I mean, you saw him extend plays. You saw AJ get physical and do what the man needed to do. I was saying that even earlier. Like that was one of the things Hurts was missing a lot. Was just what's his face? That was one of the things Hurts was missing a lot. Was he just needed a really good physical receiver. I think his completion-incompletion stat line is a bit skewy. Because, I mean, there were a lot of those just of him just throwing the ball away to avoid the sack or just, like, drops or whatever. Because, again, Detroit blitzed the hell out of us, and this is another reason, and I know we mentioned it earlier, this is another reason you got to play your starters in preseason. I'm not saying for a whole quarter, but you got to play them more than just 2 snaps in the first preseason game, or 2 drives in the first preseason game. Not even 2. It was just 1 drive actually.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it was. I mean, there's like some of them are rusty as hell. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to. And I'm thinking to myself like, yeah, no. As Eagles fans, we tend to overreact to some stupid shit. But it's just, I mean, it's just week 1. I mean, there's like we said, you got a lot of time till Monday night to get all this cleaned up and fixed. Because
Thursday.
if you don't, you're gonna. Let's just put it this way: you're not gonna do well. I mean, we've seen that in years past. I mean, don't
Oh, it
fix
is
it.
Monday night. Never mind. I thought it was Thursday night. My bad.
Yeah, it's a
No.
Monday night game.
No, I think
bad.
no. That's the Chiefs play Thursday night against the Chargers.
Yeah, you're right. The entire time I thought it was Thursday.
Yeah, since with the Amazon Prime BS, it's like all that because of that.
I just forgot.
So, Nightings, let me get your thoughts. What do you think we have to do going forward against the Vikings next week?
Start with defense because that's pretty much the talk of town. All right, let's talk about the Vikings offense a little bit. You obviously got Kirk Cousins, and then you have Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, who is healthy, KJ Osborne, and number 5, you already know that is. I won't say his name, but you also got a great running back in Dalvin Cook, right? So, hold on a second. All right, so to continue, yeah, the way we played against the Lions today, we let DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams run all over us, okay? Basically, I mean, I was going to say we got to tackle better, but I mean, that's kind of complicated. You know, you can't really just say you got to tackle better. It also goes on the coaching as well. Jonathan Gannon, I have been really critical of him, even last year. And right now I am still really disappointed with how he's done this game. Basically, if we're going to do that against the Lions, then there's absolutely no way we can do that against the Vikings. So basically, Gannon's got to step up. And I know that's kind of vague, but I want to move on to offense because sadly I have to go really quick, so I'm going to finish my point. All right. And for the offense, for our offense, basically I completely agree. Steichen's offense did not impress me whatsoever today. All right. At the start of the game, we were barely running the ball. We had like 1 or 2 carries to Sanders. It was like then we had pass after pass.
I knew it. I knew you had to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
Oh, I apologize. Let me just shout out Cole's Cowboys very quick, man. You know, we would go back and forth, man. I appreciate you for coming through and watching. I apologize, Nightings. Go ahead.
It's all good. But I mean, we had a lot of options. A lot of the runs first, like Sora said, was he was extending the play when there was nothing there because the Lions got really good pressure against us. At one point, at the start of the first drive we had, Hurts could not throw the ball. There's too much pressure on him, and I'm really happy that Hurts extended his leg and ran for the first down. But at the same time, we still have to give our carries to our backs, Sanders, Scott, Gainwell, etc. And you said Sanders had 12 to 13 carries, and he had 90 yards, something like that. And the fact that he had that many carries, he had that many yards, and he scored today means that Miles Sanders is officially back. So happy to hear it. We just need to be more. I said in my video as well, we need to be more creative with it. I did say we should use options, but like you guys said, we used too many options. It was annoying, and we were predictable. It was just that's not going to fly in the Vikings defense. Vikings defense is better than the Lions defense, so I don't know how that's going to fly at all. So. And by the way, this is a Monday night game, so we have time to prepare for this. I get it. It's the first game of the season. We have new players on this team. Even though we had a preseason, I get it. We're still trying to get adjusted still. But this was still unacceptable today. And even though before the season I thought the Vikings were going to beat us anyways, because I honestly think they're not bad of a team. But they're most certainly still going to beat us if we can keep continuing this. All right. And by the way, I have to go now. So thank you for having me on, and have a great day, everybody.
Hey, appreciate you coming through, man. Hey, I love your takes, man. Have a great one.
Oh, thank you. All right, have a good one.
All right. Shay, let me get your thoughts. What do the Eagles have to do against the Vikings next week?
They got to get to the quarterback, man. They flat out, we got to get to the quarterback. One thing about the Vikings is their offensive line is also not as good as the Lions' offensive line. The Lions' offensive line is going to be amongst the best we see all year, and it's going to probably prove itself by the time the end of the year. They're probably going to be top 5 in a lot of people's rankings because they were like that last year. They brought a lot of that back. We need to take advantage of this Vikings team. They have what on that offensive. We got to be more physical. We got to be again. It has to be more aggressive with his blitz calls because they were starting to get home when he did call it. But I don't know what goes through his mind. I don't know like what makes him want to be so passive with the defensive calls at times. I don't really understand, especially now when you got talent. So I don't know. I got to see a better defensive performance. I think offensively, play calling has to be a bit better, especially in the red zone. Like when we had that big pass play to AJ Brown, and we had that run to Miles Sanders to the outside, I thought it was just a wasted play. And we got to do a lot better with our play calling and run game. I mean, yeah, we scored 31 points, and that's good, but there's room for improvement. But I do appreciate the fact that despite the fact we had all these mistakes, we still won the game. But better teams will beat us if we have the same mistakes.
Yep. It cannot be said better. Robert, what are your thoughts? What do you think the Eagles have to do against the Vikings next week?
Well, defense, and that's same with defense. Stop being passive. You got to be aggressive. I mean, we've seen like you have say like guys like Kaiser White. When you guys see guys like him get aggressive, like you see like how much stuff can change. Like that pick six. If we stay passive, like that pick six would not have happened to Bradbury. And that's the same with Bradbury. I mean, if you guys get some of these guys aggressive, you have to really play to these guys' strengths and actually, do what they need to really bring to the table. Offensively, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to clean up offensively. It's the penalties, and some of these veteran guys like Lane Johnson. Don't try to go downfield because with that, I mean, the PI call could have helped us to get to the goal line. Would have at least put up at least 40 plus on the lines. But if it weren't for that an eligible receiver, that screwed us out of the out of the red zone. So got to clean up on that part of the end of on the O line. But that's just where I'll leave it at that because there's really not that much to work with, but just got to really clean up in certain areas.
You.
There are a lot of holes, there are a lot of chinks in the armor that they have to take care of, especially with that defensive line. They have to get physical. But let me just say, hey, shout out to Rafael for coming through, El Capitan. ¿Cómo estamos, señor? I just want to say, let me get your thoughts real fast. Let me get your thoughts. What did you think of today's game, and what do you think the Eagles have to do in order to improve when they face the Vikings?
Well, for me, the game against the Detroit Lions, that was really good. But they need to improve about the defense right here because I just saw Jalen Hurts is on fire. But I think that if you're talking about the regular season right here, they need to improve not only about the defense, of course, the offensive line, because at the first quarter was really good because they had a really solid team. But at the second half, it just seemed like they're just fumbling around and they need to dust it off of the second dummies in practice. But most of the NFL teams, they're gonna put it at the 38 points for their winning. But it also they could have it like the Hearts could have it pull it off if they wanted to because that was just like an improvement right here. And for me that was a good game for Jalen Hurts because right now the only concern about that the defense was not very good over here with Gannon, which is totally had to need to improve about the defense of the second quarter.
Yeah, listen, I definitely agree, man. I'm going to say this. I think that, all around, our coaching most definitely, and first and foremost, is what we need to look at and they need to improve. Jonathan Steichen, you got to get better at the play calling. You got to be more aggressive at times, and you got to put Jalen in better position. You did great with the running game. Again, same thing like as last season. We did great with the running game, but we
We
need
had
to improve on the passing game. Also with the defense, Jonathan Gannon. We talked about you all last season, all off season, and today. You need to improve. You have not shown any progression at all. Again, you're being super passive. You need to be more aggressive, my guy. It's okay. You can rush. Again, the one thing I wanted to say early in the show was, did did anyone think that our front four, because just like Buffalo, they didn't have to blitz. Buffalo's front four contained everything. They created so much pressure that they were allowed to put 7 in the back and let them cover it. Now, it looks like today we're not at that point yet. So I answered that question right there. We're not at that point yet. But we need to be at that point because we do have the talent that can do that. So, for Jonathan Gannon, you need to devise a more aggressive play calling plan. You need to get out there. The back end's doing great, but you need to be more aggressive up front so that way you can alleviate the pressure to the back. Listen, everybody, I want to say thank you for coming through. We're going to cut it short because I gotta go. I gotta go to the airport again. My guy got to pick up the parents from PR. Got a lot to do, but I want to thank everyone for coming through. Fellas, real quick, let everyone know where they can find you. Start off with you, Papa.
Yeah, y'all can find me on Twitter at Papa Fuchs, Fuchs spelled Fuchs, and y'all can also find me on East Coast Gridiron at YouTube. That's mainly where I do my own thing. I mean, got somewhat of a small channel. I haven't done anything with that. I was like, I'm gonna do something. No, I'm not. So yeah, I pretty much just been devoting my time there, kind of with East Coast Gridiron with my brother Vic out there, and thankfully, Monday, we got some good time for Monday to clean some stuff up. I will say, was very impressed with that 54-yard dime to AJ Brown.
Oh yeah,
That was a good pass. I like that a lot.
it was pretty. Shay, let everybody know where they can find you. All right, we'll get back to Shay. Rafael,
think
let
it's
everybody
me.
know where they can find you. Oh, we got Shay back. Go ahead, Shay.
Okay.
Am I back?
Yeah. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Con Mozambique 1. That's CONMOZAMBIQUE 1. I do Eagle Space called Eagles Forum every Thursday. I'm gonna start doing that at the evening time so I can get more of y'all to join. But yeah, come check me out.
Hey man, definitely go out to Twitter, man. Go follow him and get that notification every time he goes with those spaces. Again, he is doing a lot of good for Eagles. The name of the Eagles. He's putting out spaces. He's putting out good content out there in the space community. Rafael, let the good people at home know where they can find you.
All right. So my Twitter or Instagram is at Capitan Rafucho. I repeat, at Capitan Rafucho. And of course, you can subscribe me on YouTube as Rafael Chacin. I'm on my road to 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I'll do the next week Silver and Black Experience. And of course, a special live stream for the NFL fans right here. So stay tuned, folks. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram, which is at Capitan Rafucho. And of course, I watch right now because well after work I was watching the game between Raiders versus Chargers. So you can follow me on Twitter as at Capitan Rafucho, and also you can subscribe me on YouTube as Rafael Chacin.
Hey, thank you for coming through, everybody. Hey, listen, everybody that came through, that's watching now, that will be watching later. Thank you so much for my co-host Timothy Kincade, the King himself. I know he wants to send his well wishes and thank you. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Listen, this is the first of many raw reaction shows we have. Me and my guy Tim, and hopefully these wonderful panel guests will join us every week. We'll go over the game. Like I said, we won't take up much of your time. But this is what we're going to be about. We're going to be about that raw reaction. Yes, we will analyze the game, but we're going to analyze that game with a little feeling. You know what I mean? We're going to be a little upset, but we're talking today like we lost the game and we did not. We won the game. So, people, all the Eagles fans, enjoy this win because that's exactly what it is. Don't let these Cowboy fans hate out there and try to put a little sully to this win. Don't let them say anything. At the end of the day, we got the W on board. So, thank you so much, everybody. And of course, as always, fly Eagles, fly bird. You know what I'm saying? Listen, everybody, have a great night, have a great weekend, and we out.
Avita Beats.